Hello again. Okay, so we're going to take up part part two of chapter five, which is actually like a page uh, from where we left off last time. So here we go. Uh, Seeing how his loud voice had spooked poor Rosalind again, he stopped himself. But I got lucky, he said to Sarah. I found you. In spite of the tense scene, when he turned to face her, the two of them became stuck in a loving gaze that traveled the years. Bobby watched as she held on to their firstborn with motherly care. Anyway, Dad, said Sterling, far too casually, you've always said that me and Roz will take over the camp. You know, one day. Bobby found himself embarrassed and oddly groping for words. Well, you can't count on a thing like that. Things change. Sterling's face scrunched up. What the heck does that mean? I mean, Bobby scrambled to explain, you need university smarts these days to run a business. I don't want Roz to have to handle the whole show after your mother and me kick off. You gotta chip in more. Sarah gave him a look, and he understood. Right. Bobby stood straight and shoved his hands in the pockets of his jeans. Here's the deal. Since you're quitting on school, I'm going to work you twice as hard this summer. Sterling gaped at his father. You mean that's all? Yeah, that's it, Bobby sighed. For now. And don't be staring at me like you just won most valuable player or something. So that is the end of chapter 5. So we'll go on to chapter 6, which is really short. And maybe chapter 7 too. Let's see how the time goes. This is Matt, chapter 6. Matt was first to climb aboard the yellow school bus, quickly sliding into a second row window seat. His shaggy hair hanging almost to his eyebrows, eyes glued to the floor, he ignored the other kids walking past him down the aisle, all happy and excited. Instead, he sat silently fuming. The website's fine print showed him the true horrors of the camp. No cell phones, no laptops, no electronic devices of any kind allowed. Dad had gone on and on about the owner of the camp, Bobby Banks, a rough and tumble minor leaguer who sometimes got called up by the big club to add some muscle. How could some washed up goon help him? Usually his dad made smart decisions about Matt's burgeoning hockey career. Dad tried to sell him on what a great old school experience this was going to be, but he was expecting the worst. Only moments ago, Dad had stood at the doorway of the bus, his hand held out and his face serious. Lowering his head, Matt reached into his pocket and pulled out the prohibited cell phone he planned to smuggle into camp with him. How stupid do you think I am? Dad placed the phone inside his own pocket. Matt wanted to answer, I don't know, how stupid are you? Despite his anger, he said nothing. The last boy aboard the bus caught his attention. They must have been the same age, but the kid stepped nervously, clutching a couple of books under one arm like they were a catch of slippery fish. Who was this geek with stringy stringy blonde hair, a white collared shirt, and long black pants on a hot summer day? And his white running shoes didn't have a mark on them. He was searching for somewhere to sit. And naturally the boy just had to stop by the empty seat next to Matt. Hi, he said. Is anybody sitting there? At first Matt ignored him. Then he mumbled, Take a load up before you drop your books. Hey, thanks. Once he sat, he smiled and nodded. I'm Brandon. Matt, he said flatly. The bus started its journey to the camp. Brandon tried a few times to break the ice between Matt and himself with boring small talk. Though secretly warming to the company of the new boy, Matt gave mostly one-word replies to everything he said. Not being rude exactly, just playing it cool. Chapter 7, and now we have Sarah doing a point of view here. Third person, of course. Inside the kitchen, getting lunch ready for the new batch of soon-to-arrive campers, Sarah peered out the window. It's shaping up to be a beautiful day. Rosalind nodded. Stomping in, Sterling closed the screen door behind him. Though she wondered when or if her son was going to paint the fence down by the dock, she decided not to bring it up for the time being. "Where's your father?" He opened the fridge door as if he hadn't heard her. While Rosalind poured lemonade crystals into a big jug of water, she swung her head and stared at her brother. "Sterling, did you see Daddy?" "Huh? Oh, he's around somewhere." "That's helpful," said Sarah. Rosalind stirred the crystals in the water with a long wooden spoon. "That's Sterling." He responded by making a funny face, and his sister stuck her tongue out at him. Sarah gave both her kids a disapproving glance. They could be so childish at times. She wished Bobby would put a full kitchen in the dining hall. It was becoming a bit much, carrying food back and forth from their cottage all the time. True, only a few steps separated the two buildings, but still. She watched as her son gawked at the insides of the fridge. "Don't you even think about stealing another one of your father's beers." He closed the door and sulked for a second. "By the way," he turned around, "thanks, Roz." "What for?" "For faking that panic attack the other day." "I was only half faking. I hate it when you and Daddy argue." What's up with Dad? He sure isn't his old self. I hope he's not going to go soft on new campers." Sarah grabbed a serving tray from the shelf above the kitchen sink. "He wants to show the kids how to play the game with pure skill this year. Let's face it, hockey teams don't need enforcers anymore. Those days are gone." Her son gave a doubtful laugh, which always annoyed her. "Ha, you say enforcer, I say goon." "That's no way to talk about Daddy," Rosalind sniped. "Mom, how did you ever get hooked up with a guy like him?" Sarah didn't want another family talk going off the rails. "If I hadn't," she said, keeping her cool, "you wouldn't be here." "Would that be such a bad thing?" Rosalind gazed at him. "Stop being so weird all the time." "The trouble is," Sarah went on, "you and your father are too much alike." "We're nothing alike." His sister giggled. "Oh, please." "Not to mention," added Sarah, placing plates of tuna sandwiches and sliced pickles onto the serving tray, "you're both in denial." She winked and checked to see if the lunch was all set to go. "I can't deny he's on my case all the time. No change there. He just keeps at me." Sarah leaned over the sink, tired. Her son's drivel had sent her past her limit, and she slapped her hand on the counter. "Poor Sterling!" "Huh?" Rosalind took a step back too. Bobby was right. Maybe their son could benefit from a taste of tough love coming from her once in a while. What have you got to show for yourself?" she shouted. "You get thrown out of university, play computer games non-stop, drink beer by the gallon, and you think he should be happy with you?" "Great, now you're starting on me." "Look." Sarah paused and took control of herself. "Help your big sister carry the lunch over to the dining hall." Sterling's mouth opened wide. "Come, little brother." Head down, he followed Rosalind. And that takes us to the end of chapter 7. And I'm not going to go on. The next chapter is actually quite long. So get ready for that some other time when I'm ready to do the chapter 8. So that's chapters 1 to 7 done over 2 videos. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a great day, night, whatever it is. It's it's about 9:47 here in the evening, but take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.